This is the most incredible program, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. When I decided to get divorced, there was really nothing out there that my kids could relate to. So the fact that my kids, I have a character, Abby Kadabi, that my kids, I could say, look, she's going through the same thing that you are. It's just really incredible. It's really important for kids to have a character in their lives that is actually going through what they're going through. A lot of people don't know how to talk about divorce, and a lot of people don't want to talk about divorce, and that's why I started writing about it. To be able to have this conversation here with Sesame Street is the most incredible thing, because divorce affects 40% of children, and it affects 1.5 million children each year. There was nothing really out there for my kids. There was no character that they can relate to. So when Sesame came out with Little Children, Big Challenges, Divorce, and having Abby Kadabi being able to sort of have the same story as my children, it was the most incredible thing.
This one is where I live with my mommy, and this one is where I live with my daddy.
The reason that we went down this road is exactly because we heard from families about the need to talk about divorce more openly, but more importantly, getting the child's point of view. What it is really a collection of resources, multiple media resources that include the wonderful story that you got a little glimpse of, really showing not only Abby's story, but also the stories of actual families and children in different situations. We also have print materials that help guide for parents and caregivers on questions that they may be asking, the children may be asking, and they may have a hard time responding. We collected this information on an app so that you also have this on the go, and it may sound funny for that, but the thing is, as we know, how many children ask questions in the most inconvenient places you may not expect. And so we wanted to go where children are. And then in addition to that, all of these resources are online. There are also resources to help organizations in case they are reaching out, because our idea is that you're not standing alone, that there are resources out there, and we encourage this to be included into community resources as well.
I've got big feelings jumbled up inside. I got big feelings, yeah.
Well, it was important for me to be here because I've been through it myself. I kind of know how it affects kids. I know how it affects my children. And so I just wanted to take my experience and hopefully help other people go through that situation a little better than I did, with the benefit of my own hindsight. If mom were ever in trouble, would you help her? Right? So it's like, and I'm like, well, of course, mom is family. She's always going to be my family, trust me. That's just what it is. She's always going to be my family. We're always going to be connected. I would absolutely help her. They just want to know that you're connected to them, that you will still care about their mom. And I'm sure they ask their mom similar questions.
We divorced very, very young. My kids were very, very young. My son was 1.5 years. My daughter was just under 3. So my daughter barely has a recollection of me living at the home, and my son has no recollection. So it's just kind of like over time, it just kind of like phases itself out and becomes like their new reality. So as long as you don't like dwell on anything negative or anything, at least in my case, the questions kind of start to tinker out. So what I did was basically every month create a calendar and create it with my children. And so my children literally would like sit down at the library with me and, okay, it's February, so let's draw the grid and let's do the numbers and, et cetera, et cetera. And so it became like an art project every single month. And then every day they saw me, whether it was school pickup day, or if it was the alternate weekends or a special holiday that they're with me, of course I jazz it up with some sort of, sticker, or something special.
Well, it's really important to me to be here because my daughter is just 4.5, and we have been separated from her father since she was 1. And it's really a difficult process for her because she doesn't really know what's going on. She goes to school full time, and she's surrounded by other children who have mommy and daddy bringing them to school. And when I heard about this, I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for her and for me to explore what's going on in a friendly, happy environment with characters that she knows, the brand that we know. In the book that is in your packets, To Hug Day, she goes through certain emotions that she discusses, and she also has these different things that she's doing. And I'm using that with my daughter right now to help the transition, because she sees her father alternate weekends, and it's difficult for her because she wants to stay with mommy and she wants to see daddy.
Healing comes in identification. That's what I believe. When people can say, yeah, me too, or I feel that also. And that's who better than Sesame Street to do that, to let parents know, to take away the shame of it, to take away the taboo, not talking about it. Here we are, we're talking about it. It's real, it's here, and we're going to do it in the most poignant, beautiful, kind, educational way we possibly can. We felt it was very important for he and I to sit down and do it together with them. Because it was going to be a family situation, and because we made this decision, like, even though we're divorced, we're still a family, which is like what you said, Mike. However, in telling my children, and I don't know if this was another question, but it's just interesting, in telling my children about 2 years ago that I'd met someone and all of that I did very individually, because that was not a family situation. That was a decision that their mother had made and now was responsible to impart on them and allow them. So, and there's still situations where we have family, where it's just the five of us, where our spouses are not involved. We have family situations.
Today we had the opportunity to have a wonderful panel that included actual parents who experienced divorce, as well as a guided discussion with members in the audience about questions that they had on divorce. So we have the opportunity to go around this wonderful topic of little children, big challenges, divorce.